We got trouble in paradise, y'all. Trouble in paradise. So, RFK is, of course, running for president as a Democrat, but he's been doing the podcast circuit, and it's likely the case that a majority of the podcasts he's been on are right-leaning. And certainly his message is more conducive to a right-wing audience. I mean, his whole career up to the point he ran for president was about, anti-vaccine stuff. And so he found a welcoming audience, but the welcoming audience was on the right. And he did have a decent amount of support among Democrats. But look, I think the Occam's razor explanation for that is he's a Kennedy, and the Kennedys are Democratic royalty. So there's just a default support because he's a Kennedy. But the more he talks, the more the Democrats don't like him, the left and liberals don't like him, and the more the right likes him. And by the way, that's reflected in his favorability rating now. It's plummeted among Democrats and the left and liberals, and it's gone up among Republicans and conservatives. And potentially, like centrist-y types too. Okay, so now we have a situation where he's running as an independent. So he's going to say, and this part is fair. I mean, to be fair to him, this argument is fair. Hey, the DNC kind of rigged the process. They're not giving me a fair hearing. They're not giving Marianne a fair hearing. They're not allowing us to have debates. They're behind the scenes. They're pulling strings and screwing us over in terms of our ability to get voter data or talk to college Democrats, etc. And so it's unfair. So now I'm going to run as an independent. How do you like them apples? So what's interesting, though, is because he's been out there and getting his message out, Democrats are no longer nearly as interested in him, and Republicans are more interested in him. So him running as an independent, it's a possibility he takes more votes from Trump than he does from Biden. Kind of wild to think about. Now, look, it's not super conclusive. Like, we don't know for sure if that's the case, but there's some evidence at this point in time that is likely to be the case. It could be like a 50-50 split. You take 50% from Biden, 50% from Trump, or it could be more from Trump, right? So, you know who knows this? The Trump people. And then we get this headline. Anxious Team Trump plans attacks on RFK Jr. Quote, we have a lot of stuff on him. Former President Donald Trump's 2024 campaign is reportedly planning a series of attacks against soon-to-be independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Team Trump becomes anxious that Kennedy could take more votes away from Trump than President Joe Biden. 7-4 spoke to several Trump allies on Friday who reported they are anxious about Kennedy now that he will supposedly be dropping his Democratic primary campaign in favor of an independent presidential run. Quote, we're going to be dropping napalm after napalm on his head, reminding the public of his very liberal views dating back to 2012. One unnamed source told the outlet, we have a lot of stuff on him. By the way, I love that, like, the stuff they'll probably dump on him is like, he supports a public option for healthcare. It's going to be stuff like that, right? He said raise the minimum wage. It's amazing. They're going to lean into, like, all the things they shouldn't lean into. But that's what you got to do to make them more disliked among Republicans. Another source told Semaphore it's single digits, but it's enough where it counts to make a difference, while a Trump-aligned operative said he used to be a fun plaything to hurt Biden. Now he is something that could hurt the GOP. By the way, look, I just want to be clear about something. Look at how much more sophisticated Republicans are when it comes to politics. One of the only reasons they were hyping up RFK is because they thought he's hurting Biden, so now we're going to hype him up. And now they realize, oh shit, if he runs as an independent, it hurts us. Boom, they flip on a dime. On Friday, the conservative Daily Caller published an article attacking Kennedy for some comments he made about pig farmers in the aftermath of 9/11. I stand by the statements I made in Clear Lake last month that factory meat integrators are more threatening to democracy than Osama bin Laden, said Kennedy in a 2002 article. I'm serious. Hog lots threaten democracy. Oh my God. So that's what they're going to do is go to his like uber environmentalist past and pull up statements like this. I bet they do find a lot on this guy. Look, personal life stuff is kind of off the table to me when it comes to politics. But the fact of the matter is, he's got a lot of demons in his personal life that they could pull up, and they probably will since they're Republicans and they have no lines. Since announcing his run for president, Kennedy has received frequent airtime on conservative television shows and support from the Republican politicians and pundits. Last month, Kennedy thanked Fox News for giving him so much time, remarking, you guys have been so very, very generous. Last week, Mediaite's Diana Falzone broke the news that Kennedy will be announcing an independent run on October 9th. Now, by the way, on the Fox News thing, look, this is where, look at the difference between Marianne and RFK. Marianne had her eyes wide open going into it, right? That the only reason Fox News wants me on is to use me as a vessel to attack Biden. That's it. They don't agree with me. They don't agree with Medicare for all or higher minimum wage or more unions or ending wars. They don't agree. They're just using me as a vessel to attack Biden. So Marianne went in there and didn't play the game. Marianne went in there and said, okay, I have disagreements with Biden, but let's talk about you, Sean Hannity, and what you believe. Let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about the Republicans. And guess what? Soon thereafter, she stopped getting invited on so much. RFK, on the other hand, he's more than willing to, he either doesn't realize they're playing that game or he knows and doesn't care. And so he goes in there and plays right into their game. Useful idiot is a good term for it. Well, now you're about to see what they really think of you. A campaign insider told Mediaite at the time, Bobby feels that the DNC is changing the rules to exclude his candidacy, so an independent run is the only way to go. The same insider also went on to add, this is going to fuck Trump. Bobby's values are much more in line with patriots. He's against Big Pharma. He's pro-Bitcoin, decentralized so the government can't control it. I mean, look, what will be interesting to see is what path RFK takes now. Because we got news the other day, he's going to go to some CPAC event and like talk to people there. If he leans into trying to get more support from the right, then he probably, when all said and done, will help Biden more than Trump. So if he leans into that, is that strategic? Is he trying to hurt Trump and help Biden? Probably, but I don't know. Or he could just be totally oblivious and just sort of existing in reality without thinking about the consequences. But it'll all depend on what happens from here. It'll all depend on what he talks about and how he campaigns from here. Right? Who he'll take more from, and if he even makes it to Election Day. But look, Ross Perot got like 18% of the vote, the popular vote, and didn't even get a single electoral college vote. So the chance of RFK winning is literally non-existent, right? In the same way, Cornel West, he's running as an independent. He also, it's non-existent, his chance of winning. Question is, what other impact will he have on the race? And we'll see, but let's just say I hope the dynamic that people are discussing, and I hope the Trump campaign's view of this is the accurate one that actually is going to hurt us more than Biden. Fingers crossed. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.